Our series begins today in the summer of 2022 with Dong, who has moved back to her old town where she spent her teenage years. It was where her high school was. She goes up to the rooftop of her building, and the landlady comes over and asks if she's the new young woman who just moved in. She looks friendly and kind, and she's interested in gardening. The landlady tells her that before she throws away the flower pots, she needs to break them. This reminds Dong of her high school days, which deeply affected her. Dong then goes back to her apartment, which is filled with many photos of her friends from back in the day. We see Dong's body, which has noticeable scars. Eugene enters and asks her why she has their pictures up. Dong hits her and says it's the beginning of her plan to confront her. Eugene laughs and tells her to try if she can. It turns out to be just Dong's imagination, and she tells us why she wants to confront Eugene so badly. We flash back to the summer of 2004, when Dong was a high school student with Eugene. Her friends treated her very badly. One day, Dong musters up the courage to report it to the police. But the police chief is a friend of Dong's mom, so he resolves it amicably with her and does nothing. The class teacher also comes and tells Dong that she's overreacting and shouldn't report her classmates because they were just joking with her. She gets very upset and is surprised by his strong bias towards them. Back in the present, we see Dong going to a playground and meeting Yesul, Eugene's daughter. Dong wants to express her feelings to Eugene through her daughter. She tells Yesul that she will tell her a story where she is the protagonist. We flash back again to the past and see Eugene deciding to make Dong regret thinking she could report them to the police. Eugene tells her she made a huge mistake thinking she could do that and that nothing will change. The proof is that she's back in the same place and that no one will help her. Eugene takes a hair straightener and uses it to hurt Dong. Dong keeps calling out for someone to help her. Eugene laughs and tells her that no one will come to help her, not her family or even the police. Dong asks why she is doing this to her, and Eugene says she enjoys hurting people like her. Eugene continues to harm her with the straightener. She also makes Dong witness their classmate, who is also involved in the bullying, mistreating her. Afterward, Dong goes to the school nurse and asks for some oxygenated water. The nurse asks if she needs it because she has blood on her clothes. She sees blood on Dong's sleeve, gets very worried, and lifts it to find many scars. She tells Dong that if she's being mistreated, she needs to report it to the class teacher and the principal, and that if she's scared to go alone, she can go with her. However, the nurse is shocked that Dong doesn't seem very concerned about what's happening to her. At that moment, the nurse hears a familiar ringtone. It turns out to be Eugene's, who then tells the nurse that she's the one responsible for Dong's injuries, and that this isn't the first time, nor will it be the last. Eugene provocatively tells her she can report it to anyone she wants, but it won't change anything. The nurse is very shocked by Eugene's attitude and bravery and feels deep sympathy for Dong, not knowing what to do to help her. One day after school, Dong returns home and hears voices inside her room. She's startled and tries to leave, but she runs into Choi and gets very scared. She realizes they are really in her room. Choi asks if she wants to run away and forces her into the room. Dong asks what they're doing there. Eugene tells her she's very rude for not welcoming her guests and takes the piggy bank where Dong has been saving money to escape from the city and the school and all the mistreatment she's facing. Eugene mocks her in her dreams, takes the money and throws it around, telling her she's very poor because the money is little. Dong begs Eugene to return her money and leave her alone. However, Eugene is not moved by her words and says she'll leave her money on the condition that Dong dances for them because they're bored. Dong is shocked and feels very humiliated, but she knows that if she doesn't do what they want, she'll be humiliated even more. After Eugene and her group finish mocking and bothering Dong, they leave her alone. Dong is devastated and goes up to the rooftop, feeling like jumping off. But deep inside, she knows it's not the right thing to do, and that she doesn't deserve to end her life. She's in pain, and all her burns are hurting her a lot. With no one by her side or supporting her, not even her mom, she takes off her clothes and tries to soothe her burns with the ice that is everywhere because it's winter. The next day, Eugene's friend Sarah gets a call and learns that Dong has transferred from the school. However, Dong has reported their names to the school principal for mistreating her, which could cause them problems. At that time, the class teacher calls Dong and tells her that her report will cause him trouble and that she shouldn't blow things out of proportion. He insists that her classmates were just joking with her and didn't actually harm her seriously. Dong tells him that he also has a child and wouldn't want this to happen to them. He gets very upset with her comment and reprimands her in front of her classmates and other teachers. This confirms to Dong that nothing will change and that the money and influence of Eugene and her friends will always protect them. Eugene's mother, wanting to protect her daughter and keep this off her record, goes to Dong's mother and gives her a lot of money, asking her to change the reason for Dong's transfer to something like she couldn't adapt to the school. Dong's mother, being poor and knowing that their money will always protect them, takes the money. This way, Dong's rights are ignored. When Dong returns to her room, she finds that her mother has taken the place and that the landlady will evict her. Her mother also left her the paper she signed stating that she transferred because she couldn't adapt. Dong is shocked and realizes that her mother will never stand up for her or support her and is also resigned to what's happening. Dong continues to work hard, but all her burns still hurt and haven't healed. She desperately wants to get rid of the pain in any way possible. She thinks about ending her life again, but then tells herself that she doesn't deserve this and hasn't hurt anyone. She returns to school and tells Eugene that she has read what she wrote about her dreams and the dreams of her friends. She tells her that from today, she will be her nightmare and will face her again. After this, Dong disappears from the city. She starts working in a dye factory while also studying for her high school exams. She passes and gets into a teacher training college. She keeps thinking about how she can meet Eugene and make her feel the same way she did, especially since Eugene is wealthy, unafraid, and has everything. This is why Dong entered the teacher training college, to be close to Eugene's daughter naturally, and to get her revenge in the thing Eugene loves most. Dong finishes her story to Yesul, who tells her that her mother isn't the hero of this story because her mother is very rich. It's always known that the heroes in stories are often poor and weak. Dong is very surprised by the little girl's thinking, which is just like her mother's. We then flash back to 2012, after Dong has entered the teacher training college. During this time, she tries to follow and gather all the information Eugene and her group post on social media to determine when she can take the first step in her plan. Her friend Mayung, who she met at the factory where she worked after running away from high school and the city, helps her with her plan. Dong finds out that Eugene has become a news anchor and is married, while Sarah and Hara have become flight attendants. Choi still works for the gang. One day, Dong is at the library when she gets a message from a student asking for an extra lesson because he has an exam in a week. Dong goes to the student, who is also rich and behaves like the other wealthy bullies. He tries to harass her, but Dong records everything he does and sends it to his parents, demanding money in exchange for not exposing him. Dong takes the money and leaves, but she faints due to malnutrition and anemia and is quickly taken to the hospital. After a while, she wakes up and sees Hyun beside her, his face covered in scars and bruises. As she starts to wake up, she is very frightened and tries to leave, but Hyun stops her and tells her that despite his appearance, he is a doctor and helps her untie herself. He notices the burns on her hands, but she leaves quickly. Later, the supervising doctor asks Hyun about Dong, as her tests are very concerning, showing severe anemia and she needs medication. The next day, Dong sees Hyun at college and learns from him that he found her because the nurse saw her ID card when she was looking in her bag for her phone to call someone while she was in the hospital. He gives her the prescription and asks her to follow it and stay consistent. Hyun notices that Dong is interested in the game Go and offers to teach her because he knows it very well. Dong is very happy, and he teaches her for 3 years until she graduates from college and officially becomes a teacher in 2015. On her graduation day, she tells him it's the last day she will see him because she has learned the game well. Hyun is puzzled because she hasn't beaten him even once, but she explains that he is not the person she wants to defeat and destroy everything he has built. Back in the present, we see Eugene bullying the people she works with, believing she can buy them with money because she's rich. She has a daughter, Yesul, who is now 7 years old. Dong goes to the shop where Choi works, and when he sees her, he recognizes her immediately. Dong tells him she's back for revenge and offers him a partnership, saying that if he helps her get her revenge, she will help him reclaim everything that Eugene and her group took from him. Dong also manages to reach and get to know Sam, her classmate and the son of the class teacher who sided with Eugene and her group against her. She plans to get her revenge on the class teacher through his son. Dong remembers when she kept an eye on the apartments opposite Eugene's house, waiting a long time for the apartment she currently lives in to become available, so she could monitor Eugene and learn everything about her. She also takes Eugene's trash and collects papers they think they've disposed of, piecing them back together to learn all their secrets. One day, while she is collecting the trash as usual, she is surprised by Lena, Eugene's housekeeper, who tells her she has been watching her and photographing her for 6 months. She tells her that she will help her and stand by her side and won't report her on one condition: she must get rid of her husband. Dong is shocked by this. Days later, Dong sees Lena and her daughter Sujo being subjected to domestic violence by her husband. At that moment, she asks Lena to work with her and provides her with everything she needs to live away from her husband. She assures her that she will fulfill her request at the right time. Dong asks Lena to send Sujo every weekend to the local station for private lessons so she can catch up with her classmates at school. Dong also asks Lena to learn how to drive, and after some time, Lena comes back and tells her she got her driver's license. Dong gives her a car and a camera, teaching her how to use them, and asks her to monitor Eugene, her group, and their former class teacher. Lena gathers very useful information. Dong learns that Eugene's daughter, Yesul, has color blindness. She recalls the school days when John fought with a classmate and beat him until he passed out because the classmate talked about his color blindness. Dong suspects that Eugene might have cheated on her husband and that Yesul could be John's daughter. One day, Dong is on her way to study as usual, on the train, and is surprised to see Hyun, who is also surprised to see her after many years. He asks her how she's been, and she tells him she passed her exams and became a teacher. He tells her that the time they met was the worst period of his life, but seeing her in their meetings were the best thing that happened to him. He asks to meet more often, leaving her his card. That day, Dong goes to the Go Club, where she is very skilled, and no one can beat her despite her young age. Hyun, intrigued by her skill and playing techniques, can't stop thinking about her even after he goes home. 2 days later, Dong meets Hyun in an old abandoned building near the high school. She tells him she once considered ending her life from that building. He tells her that their classmate, Moon, ended her life from the same building. Dong reveals that the truth is different and that Moon was actually killed. Hyun is shocked and insists he didn't do it, that the charges were fabricated. Dong tells him she knows because she was there and saw what happened. He asks who did it, but she prioritizes her interests and asks for Jan's hair sample as she previously requested. The next day is Sarah's art exhibition, and everyone is impressed by her achievement, not knowing she stole the artwork from others and claimed it as her own. During the event, Eugene announces she received an invitation to an award ceremony at their old high school and asks everyone to join her. After the exhibition, Sarah, Eugene, Jan, and Hara go to the school and enter the field where they used to bully their classmates. They are all surprised when they see Dong entering, announcing that she works as a teacher now. Eugene feels a bit scared, especially when Dong steps up to receive the award for Best Student. Dong keeps clapping for her, encouraging all the students to do the same, and calling her name, which makes Eugene very nervous. Eugene is puzzled, wondering why Dong is doing this. Their past was the worst thing that could happen to anyone. Eugene gets very agitated, waits for the students to leave, then hits Dong, demanding to know what she wants to achieve. Jan tries to calm Eugene down, reminding her that the students are outside and that her actions could harm her career. He tells Dong she has changed a lot since she was a depressed girl who was scared of everything. Now she seems bright and has changed her style. Dong responds that she has lost everything and has nothing left to fear or care about. She adds that she would compliment John on his new style, but he wouldn't appreciate it since he can't see or understand colors. This upsets Jan. 2 days later, while Eugene is at work, Yesul calls to say she spilled milk on her shoes and is walking barefoot. Eugene tells her to ask her teacher for help. Yesul says her teacher left and a new one is coming today. Eugene is puzzled, as no one informed her about this. Yesul then mentions that the new teacher is her friend Dong. Eugene is shocked, realizing that Dong is there for revenge. Dong arrives in the classroom and tells the students, including Yesul, that their parents' jobs and wealth won't help them in class. She won't tolerate any bullying based on wealth, strength, or family influence. Eugene rushes to her daughter's school, finding all the students outside the classroom. She confronts Dong, accusing her of having planned this all along. Dong confirms, saying nothing happens by chance and reminding Eugene that she promised they would meet again. Eugene is taken aback by Dong's boldness. Dong continues, saying the power dynamics have shifted, and now she holds the power, ready to make Eugene taste her own medicine. As Eugene leaves the classroom, she receives a message from her friends saying that their old high school teacher, who supported them against Dong, has died. Eugene is shocked, but Dong is not surprised. She tells Eugene that everyone pays for their mistakes. Dong recalls how, before starting at the school, she visited the old teacher to congratulate him on his promotion. He was terrified upon seeing her. Sam, the teacher's son, arrived, and Dong pretended not to recognize him. The teacher became agitated, drawing a crowd. Sam tried to get his father inside and asked Dong what she wanted. Dong told him an article about his father's past actions was going to be published, which could harm his career and promotion. She added that unlike her, he could manage to fix things because he was an adult. When Dong was just 18, she told Sam that his father had wronged her greatly and that she was informing him before publishing the article so he could take action. Sam chose his career and future over his father. He put his father in a room full of flowers, knowing his father had a severe allergy to them, triggering an asthma attack. Sam refused to help, not wanting Dong to publish the article that would ruin his future. In this way, Dong avenged herself against the teacher through his son without implicating herself. Dong later went to a restaurant and met the nurse from her high school who had always sympathized with her. The nurse, now older and more capable, assured Dong she would stand by her. Dong then met Cho, requesting all information and documents about Sarah, particularly regarding her drug addiction and the specific substances she used. Cho gave her the papers in exchange for a note containing Dong's answer to his question about who killed Moon. Cho followed the lead to a morgue and discovered that Moon's body, the girl who had been bullied, was still there because her family had refused to claim it. He was deeply saddened and anxious. Eugene lived in constant tension, always waiting for her daughter to return from school, asking if anyone had bullied her or tried to harm her, and if the new teacher was mistreating her. Yesul, puzzled, reassured her mother that the teacher was kind and that no one had harmed her. Meanwhile, Lena, the housekeeper, monitored Eugene and discovered she regularly visited a Go Club every weekend. Dong stayed away for a while, but eventually returned to the club. Kim was waiting and asked her for a game. After a long, challenging match, Dong won. As she was leaving, Kim asked her to stay for another game, knowing this was the best way to get closer to Kim and harm Eugene. After finishing, Dong went to a nearby supermarket, followed by Kim, who asked her where she learned to play Go, why she liked it, and where she worked. Her answers were always unexpected. She said she learned it in a park and loved the game because she enjoyed the feeling of destroying all the structures her opponent built. He asked her how she managed to accomplish so much and cope in silence. Surprised by her response, he gave her his card and asked her to stay in touch so they could play more often. However, she declined and told him to bring more money if he wanted to play with her next time. Kim was very impressed by her intellect and attitude. The next day, Eugene visited her daughter's school and asked the vice principal about Dong and how she got hired, and if it was possible to transfer her to another school. The vice principal explained that he was also surprised by her appointment since she transferred from a public school to a private one. However, no one could challenge her hiring or transfer her because the principal himself appointed her. Eugene was very puzzled and asked if he meant that Dong was hired despite not having the qualifications or resume suitable for teaching children at this level. The vice principal clarified that Dong's resume was actually outstanding, and he had never seen such an impressive resume for someone her age. Eugene requested to see the resume to understand Dong's background. Later, Eugene went to check on her daughter in class. Yesul was in an art lesson, struggling to use most of the colors due to her color blindness. Her classmates were puzzled and bullied her for coloring things in an unusual and unrealistic way. Dong tried to explain to the students that everyone has different perspectives and that people see things uniquely. At this moment, Eugene saw Dong holding scissors near her daughter, which scared her, thinking Dong was trying to harm her. She waited outside the classroom until the lesson ended. Afterwards, she took Dong aside and asked her how much money she wanted to leave her and her daughter alone. Eugene told Dong that what happened in the past was done and couldn't be changed, and they were just children then and didn't know better. Dong responded that she wouldn't harm a child, but there were many other ways to hurt her, like colors, for example. Eugene was shocked and confused about how Dong knew the secret that Yes Sul was actually John's daughter. A few days later, Lena managed to steal Sarah's phone and figure out its password. She handed it to Dong, who discovered very incriminating information on it. The next day, Dong went to the church Sarah regularly attended. Sarah was very surprised to see her. She asked Sarah if she planned to repent, to which Sarah replied that she should be asking herself that question. Sarah was very puzzled by Dong's approach and asked if she was on something. Dong retorted that it was Sarah who was using, revealing that she had plenty of evidence that Sarah was on multiple drugs. Dong then struck Sarah and demanded a bag full of dollars, threatening to expose her everywhere if she didn't comply. Sarah was very taken aback by Dong's manner and fearful of her threats. The next day, Dong went to the park where she used to train with Hyun and read the messages he sent her 8 years ago, which she never replied to. She sent him a picture of a medicine and asked him about it. When Hyun received the message, he couldn't believe it was from her because it was the first time she had responded since they knew each other. He called her and asked to meet, rushing over as soon as he could. He identified the medicine and asked why she didn't just say she wanted to meet. Dong told him she came to apologize and thank him for the past. Hyun asked for a chance to get closer to her, but Dong replied that her life had no room for love or laughter. She had clear, explicit goals that she needed to achieve, and that laughter and happiness would gradually make her forget them. She told him she didn't need a prince to make her dreams come true and make her happy. She needed an executioner by her side in her battle against those who wronged her. Hyun realized she was saying goodbye and felt very sad. The next day, Dong contacted Choi and asked him to meet her. He was very curious. She remembered when she was a student and he used to beat her and treat her harshly, always trying to cover the tattoo on his neck with medical tape. She asked why he no longer used the tape. He said he was no longer afraid of anyone bothering him about the tattoo and its meaning, and that he was capable of retaliating and punishing anyone who might think of annoying him. Dong told him that his tattoo had always motivated her, giving her energy. Its meaning was that life moves in one direction towards death. She quickly changed the subject, telling him she had a new mission for him and that he would be paid a lot of money for it. Meanwhile, Eugene was with the police officer, a friend of her mother's, who helped her when she was a high school student. She gave him a picture of Dong and her name, asking for all the information about her and her family. She wanted to know if Dong had loved ones or children, and requested this information as quickly as possible. After a while, her friends Sarah and Jan arrived, and Sarah was very anxious. She recounted what happened to her 2 days ago, and what Dong did to her, including demanding a large sum of money. Sarah mentioned she knew how to get the money. Eugene told her that money wasn't Dong's goal, explaining that she had offered Dong a lot of money, which Dong had refused. Eugene suspected that Dong had another plan. At this point, Jan asked Eugene about Yesol, realizing she was his daughter because Dong had sent him Yesol's toothbrush from school. Later that day, Choi called Eugene, urgently requesting a meeting. Choi then disappeared and everyone tried to reach him, but his phone was off. Luna brought photos of Dong to Eugene, stating that Choi had indeed been missing for days and was last seen at the airport. Luna speculated that he might have fled or was hiding, while Dong suggested that he could be dead and that they should look for someone else among Eugene and her friends to exploit. Luna called Dong, mentioning a car had been following her for a while. Dong told her to stay hidden, promising to handle the situation. Dong drove her car quickly, noticing that the car was still tailing her. Confirming she was being followed, Dong suddenly stopped, causing the car to crash into her. It turned out to be 2 men who looked like thugs. They threatened to call the police unless she paid them for the damage. Dong calmly stated that in such situations, they should call the insurance company. The men got nervous, and one approached her, making her worried they might harm her. He took her number, saying he would call her soon for the money. Dong returned to Luna's car and asked why she was following her, suspecting Luna. Luna was shocked and explained that she had brought food, intending to invite Dong to eat together with Zoe. Dong felt bad for doubting Luna, but realized she couldn't trust anyone anymore. She apologized, promising they would eat together soon before leaving. Dong went to her old friend Myung, who could get information about Choi. Myung confirmed that Choi had booked a ticket to another country but hadn't traveled. Dong was sure something had happened to him and decided to find someone else to exploit, setting her sights on Kim. The next day, Kim received photos of himself and Dong, apparently taken by Choi. He tried to contact Choi, but his phone was off. Kim went to the club where Choi worked and asked about him, thinking they were friends. The manager, Jim, told him Choi was just an employee and hadn't been seen for a while. Kim asked if something had happened, but Jim said nothing more. Kim noticed the cigarettes Eugene had and asked when she had changed the brand. He requested that she contact him if she found Choi. Jan was very upset, confused about what he had done to make Kim come looking for him personally. Jan sent Kim a recording, warning that if Yesol was involved, he would kill him. At that time, Dong was at school when her colleague Memo approached her. He asked why she was so isolated and invited her for coffee. She refused, saying she had work to do, and Memo noticed she had 2 phones. He tried to strike up a conversation, suggesting she got her job through connections and didn't want to talk to anyone to avoid being exposed. Dong retorted that it was none of his business, which angered Memo. He said that if she were a man, he would have hit her. She replied that he seemed to only hit women, shocking him before she walked away. Meanwhile, Sarah received a picture from her stolen phone and realized who Dong was. Panicked, she prepared the money Dong had demanded, fearing exposure. Dong went to a mechanic's workshop to fix her car and received a message from Hyun, who was opening a clinic near her house. He said their match wasn't over and asked to meet. As Dong watched the workers grilling meat, memories of past traumas overwhelmed her, leaving her breathless and unable to stand. Her phone fell, and as she struggled to retrieve it with her oil-stained clothes, people tried to help her. She went to the address Hyun had sent, looking disheveled, which alarmed him. He asked her to rest first, thinking something had happened. Dong decided to tell him everything about her past as a student and her plans for revenge. Hyun advised her to let go of the past, not to ruin her future over it, and to rise above her tormentors by responding to evil with good. Dong retorted that he couldn't understand her life or the extent of her suffering. She showed him the burns on her hands and the scars covering her body, shocking him with the cruelty she had endured. Hyun promised to support her and asked who she wanted to target first. Trying to calm her, Hyun reassured her that he would stand by her no matter what. Dong was taken aback by his concern, something she had never experienced, not even from her mother. Hyun asked her to visit his clinic and play Go with him whenever she thought of him if they couldn't meet regularly. Remembering her determination to learn Go, Hyun asked why she was so insistent. She revealed that Eugene's husband loved the game and playing it was her way of getting closer to him. Kim felt very upset because he was attracted to her. She told him that he was getting close to her to make Eugene lose everything in her life, so that on the day she was destroyed, she would find no one standing by her side, not her husband, daughter, or even her family. At that time, Kim was at home, flipping through their wedding photos. He noticed that Jan was indeed Eugene's friend. When Eugene entered and joked with him about the cigarettes, he remembered Jan and asked her if they were that close. She said they had been friends since high school. Kim then asked why he wasn't in any of the pictures, to which Eugene replied that she didn't know where he was at the time. Kim mentioned he was trying to reach him lately but couldn't find him. Eugene got a little nervous, laughed, and asked if Jan had contacted or threatened him, telling Kim not to take his words too seriously because Jan could be quite foolish and his jokes heavy-handed. Kim then asked why she and Jan both asked him the same question and walked away, leaving Eugene very tense. Eugene checked the GPS in Kim's car and discovered that he had indeed gone to Jan's club. She tried to contact Jan but got no response. The next day, Kim went to his therapist and told her he wouldn't come anymore, as she hadn't been able to cure him despite years of treatment. He recalled how a mental patient had brutally killed his father in front of everyone, leading to the patient's imprisonment and the destruction of Kim's life. This was around the same time he met Dong. Dong went to the church to collect money from Sarah, then left it at the address given by the man who had hit her car. Lena, who was monitoring her, realized that the officer working with Eugene had sent them. Eugene went to Jan's apartment to talk to him but didn't find him. When she called, he said he was busy and hung up quickly, waiting outside the school to see and greet Yesol. He discovered she had color blindness like him, which saddened him. Feeling betrayed that she hadn't told him Yesol was his daughter, he called his lawyer, wanting to get custody of the girl. However, the lawyer explained that it wouldn't be possible since she was born to another couple within a marriage, and as long as her legal father, Kim, hadn't abandoned her or mistreated her, the law would be against him. The next day, Sarah went to the apartment with another person and discovered that he wasn't there, though he had booked a ticket. His passport was still there, and even the landlady didn't know anything about him, with all his belongings still in place. Realizing something had happened to him, they hurried to tell Eugene, who responded indifferently, suggesting they inform the police instead of dragging her from her work, and walked away, showing no concern. At this point, Dong began to suspect that someone might act behind her back after she had told him that Eugene was the one who killed their schoolmate. She had a piece of evidence, Eugene's school badge, and suggested he blackmail Eugene for any amount of money he wanted, with the condition that he would keep all the money for himself. He recorded her entire conversation. When Dong discovered that the officer helping Eugene was involved in the situation, she became certain that Eugene was annoyed by Choi's threats and decided to harm him to prevent him from exposing her to her husband or jeopardizing her job. That day, Eugene went to Jan's apartment and asked him why he hadn't been answering her calls. He told her he had been busy, thinking about things. She wanted to argue, but Jan suddenly stood up and started strangling her, demanding why she had hidden the fact that Yesol was his daughter. He was extremely upset and nearly killed her, but let go at the last moment. It became clear that Eugene had been cheating on Kim with Jan both before and after their marriage. The next day, Dong visited the temple before going to school and saw an elderly woman, indicating they were friends. It turned out that this woman was the mother of Haru's fiancée. Haru was shocked to realize they knew each other, fearing Dong would expose her to her mother-in-law, who wasn't happy about Haru's relationship with her son, and had always hoped Dong would be her daughter-in-law. Haru ran after Dong, begging to talk privately, pleading with her not to ruin her wedding. Dong reminded her of the harm Haru had caused her in the past, and said she wasn't planning to forgive her. Haru offered to help and do anything Dong wanted, as long as she didn't ruin the wedding. Dong then asked Haru to report Choi as missing, which she agreed to and did. At school, it was Parents' Day, and Kim was surprised to see Jan there. He asked if Jan was there because he had a child. Jan confirmed that he did indeed have a son, shocking Kim. Jan continued, asking if Kim had ever had something very precious stolen from him. Kim didn't understand the hint and became agitated, but Jan brushed it off as a joke, saying he was there to support his friend from high school. At that moment, Dong entered, and Kim was taken aback. Jan explained that Dong was an old high school friend of both him and Young. Kim recalled his daughter's words about the new teacher being nice, because she was friends with her mom from high school. Dong noticed some tension between Jan and Kim. After the meeting, Jan hinted to Kim that Yesol wasn't his daughter. Kim pretended not to understand, and told Jan to stay away from him, his daughter, and Eugene. As soon as Kim left, Dong warned Jan that if he tried to harm Eugene's daughter, he would be the one to stop her. Jan was puzzled, thinking he was the one who had sent the toothbrush, but Dong clarified that Eugene had intended to keep him in the dark. She assured him that she would never harm a child to get back at those who hurt her, and asked him to be on her side if he wanted his daughter to stay with him. Jan agreed, not out of fear but to understand her intentions. Kim then confronted Eugene about Dong's relationship with her. Eugene was startled but explained everything. She admitted that Eugene had bullied Dong during high school. Kim initially thought it was just verbal bullying and student pranks, but Haru revealed it was severe school violence, essentially brutal abuse. She explained that Eugene had inflicted wounds on Dong that would never heal. Kim was shocked and couldn't believe what he was hearing. Haru left, stating that Dong wasn't Eugene's first or last victim, and that Eugene likely hadn't told him anything. She asked him to let Dong tell him the whole story. Kim couldn't believe anything he had just heard. He was confused about whether Dong had approached him intentionally, or if she had entered their lives by coincidence. He wondered what Eugene had done in her past to make Dong so obsessed with revenge. Kim walked through the park where Dong and Hyun often played the game Go. Hyun was sitting there and approached Kim as soon as he saw him. Hyun asked for his help, explaining that the older people in the park were bothering him, and asked Kim to pretend to be his friend and walk with him for a bit. As they sat together, Hyun noticed that Kim was very troubled and distracted. Later, Hyun returned to Dong's house and told her that Kim would talk to her, but not immediately. It was clear that Kim was disorganized and didn't know where to start. Hyun assured her that Kim would reach out in a few days to understand everything that had happened between them. That night, Kim went home late and found Eugene awake. He decided to confront her and asked about her relationship with Dong and the bullying in high school. He questioned if that was why she was always so anxious about their daughter and wanted to send her away. Eugene replied that what happened was in the past and she didn't want to talk about it. She warned that bringing up the past would hurt everyone involved, insisting she had moved on since then. She pleaded with him not to reopen old wounds. Kim, however, was determined to learn the truth. Eugene sensed that he had discovered she had been a bad person during their school days. Meanwhile, Jan received a call from the police inquiring about Choi, as he worked at the same place. Jan then contacted Haru and Sarah, who were frightened because if the police investigated Choi, it could lead to numerous problems for Sarah due to the illegal substances and drugs Choi had provided her. They learned that Haru had reported Choi missing, leading to a confrontation where Sarah hit her. A few days later, Kim called Dong and asked to meet her at the park, where she and Hyun often sat. During their conversation, he learned that Dong had approached him intentionally. He asked if she was the one who sent the photos he thought were from Choi. Dong admitted she had chosen the most handsome photo of him and that everything had been part of her plan. Kim told her he was there to listen to her side first because he understood that she was the real victim. Meanwhile, Eugene found out where Dong lived and was shocked to discover that Dong's apartment was right across from their house. She called someone to illegally unlock Dong's apartment. Inside, Eugene was horrified to find pictures of herself and all her friends covering the walls. She realized she should have dealt with Dong more severely back then. The door suddenly opened, and Eugene expected to see Dong but was shocked to see Kim entering the apartment. At the same time, Dong headed to Hyun's clinic. Thus, the events of our series conclude, hinting at an upcoming second season. That's all for today's video. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and check out our other selection of recaps. Take care.